When are you gonna review your new camera car? Well, here it is. This is a 2004 Subaru Forester stick shift station wagon. Gears and Gasoline, another great YouTube channel, also used a second generation Forester as a camera car, and they loved it. I think they got rid of theirs there, got rid of their Forester. They bought a really cheap one. I bought a kind of okay one, but this car may not be long for its service to regular car reviews, may not be long lived. I bought this car when we got back from the UK trip, so it was interesting because I went for an older car. You know, we had a 2007 Honda Fit that was our camera car for, you know, almost 3 years, and then I needed something bigger, and I also needed something for these Pennsylvania winters. So, and I never had all-wheel drive before. I love this thing. The gas mileage isn't that great, man. Of course, that's because I'm coming from a Honda Fit. But this car has problems. It has rust problems, like big rust problems, like it failed inspection. I have to the end of the March. My inspection is good until the end of March, and then there's another pothole. Then I have to figure out what am I gonna do. Bruce said he wants to take a look at it, see if he can maybe weld something up or cut out the rust and weld stuff in. But in keeping with RCR tradition, this is a $5,000 car, which is kind of expensive for a Forester, especially a 2004 Forester, which is pushing 170,000 miles. But this was a one-owner car, and the person who had the Subaru didn't have dogs. So everything is clean in here. And this car had timing belt, water pump, and head gaskets done at 100,000, right when it should have been done. But the rust, man, you know, welcome to Pennsylvania. Rust just eats up cars here. And it's a shame because this car looks good. I was complimented when I was picking people up for Lyft. Like, hey, this is a clean Subaru. I'm like, thanks. But oh man, rust. So I got a choice of what I want to do. We can either repair this or we could buy a new car. I test drove a 2015 Forester, and it certainly was larger. I mean, it would make filming a little bit easier, and it would make road trips nicer. And it was stick shift, and it was a 6-speed, but oh my goodness was it slow, because they never changed the engine. This is still, they had the 2.5 liter single jingle. Oh, I have the green arrow, that's right. Making what, 170 horsepower, which is fine in the second gen Forester because this is a little station wagon. Hey, we're behind a PennDOT truck. Oh, that's because he's going to PennDOT. But when the Forester has become an SUV nowadays, with no improvements to the engine, so the thing's really slow. Like, I got into that and it felt like my Honda Fit. It felt like a gigantic Honda Fit. You know, I'm rowing through the gears. The salesman was cool. We went to the same high school. We didn't know each other though. I think he might have known my brother. Anyway, he was like, yeah, it is what it is. And we started talking about the Turbo Forester, and I'm like, ooh, that's interesting, because the second gen Turbo Forester, I drove an STI swap Forester, and that thing was way cool. That was out in Toledo? No, I'm sorry, that was in Omaha, Nebraska. And I like that. And there's a few for sale around in Pennsylvania, the Turbo Forester with the WRX driveline in it, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I could get one of those. And my gas mileage will be even worse. Choices. So, that's what we got to figure out. Do I repair this 15-year-old car and keep it going? Or do I buy a new car? And if I buy a new car, what should I get? It has to be a station wagon. It, of course, must be stick shift. It must be 2004 or newer, because that I still want to drive Lyft for the social interaction. And in Pennsylvania, with lift, your car can be 2004 or newer. Unless it's going to be 2005, unless they keep rolling it up a year. I'll have to check. And it must also have metal tie-down loops in the cargo area in the trunk. That's a must. Because that's how we ratchet strap down our tripod for the video shoots. I want a tripod instead of using my vacuum cup setup, is because a tripod can pan around corners, whereas the vacuum cup setup, the camera is fixed. Coming from a Honda Fit, a Subaru Forester pulls really well because you have more displacement. Oh, there's a 3rd gen Forester. Those things suck ass. I test drove one of them too. I would rather have a 4th gen Forester than a 3rd gen Forester. The 3rd gen Forester kind of, honestly, the inside feels cheaper, because here in the 2nd gen I get cloth on the door panels. I know that seems small, but it does a lot to muffle noise. It's softer in here, and it's also, you spend so much time in a car when the things that you touch in the car are pleasant, the experience is pleasant. And I've learned to love the Subaru grumble like this. That's so nice. And of course the new cars that they've done, the new Subarus, they don't make a peep. They don't have that growl to them. So as of this video, I'm kind of leaning I'm kind of leaning on the Forester XT, if I can find that in manual, and if I can find one with the head gaskets aren't blown up, and if I can find one that's stock, yeah, good luck, Brian. Or I could entertain a different station wagon from a different manufacturer if you can get it in manual, and if you have metal tie-down loops in the back. Can't be plastic. We found that out in New Zealand. We had Isaac's Lancaster 6 Outback, or rather Legacy, and that had plastic tie-down loops, and we put ratchet straps on those, and we could see those bend. I'm like, when we ratchet strap our tripod down to the rear of the car, we're cranking that thing down so it stays stable, or as near as stable as we can get. But if you got plastic ones in there, I mean, I looked at the Subaru Crosstech. That thing doesn't have metal tie-down loops. The Impreza wagon, the new ones, I was over at Steve Moore Subaru in Hamburg, or I'm sorry, Leesport, and I looked at the Impreza Outback, or I'm sorry, the Impreza wagon, and that plastic tie-down loops, you know, I'm gonna break them. I could talk to Bruce, and you could fabricable, shout out to AVE, some sort of like D-rings there in a car, like weld them in, or just drill a hole through the trunk and then put something in there. But am I gonna screw something up doing that? Because I did think about the metal tie-down loops in the back of a 2nd gen Forester. They're just bolted into the body, so you could just unbolt them, take the bolts with you, plug up those holes, like seam seal them closed, or just J&B weld some pieces of metal in there, and then take the cargo loops with you, and whatever car you get, drill holes through the trunk and put the cargo loops in. Solves that problem. Well, we'll figure something out, but I gotta start figuring something out within the next 2 weeks, because time's ticking on this. So again, we got a choice: repair Goldie to the tune of maybe $2,000, like $2,000 into a $5,000 car, or buy something new. That's a stick shift wagon with metal cargo loops in the back, 4 of them. All right, I'm here at Moyer's. I'm gonna go in and talk to Nush, get those pictures from him about the rust issue with this. So I miss New Zealand. Look at this. Look at this snow. I mean, I have the right car for it. It's not accumulating though, so I really can't do donuts anywhere. Oh yeah, and I experienced the glory that is stick shift Subaru four-wheel neutral drifting on parking lots. Subarus are fun, and I kind of want to stay in the Subaru family. Okay, time to go yak forever here at Moyer's Car Care.